Hey everyone, Kirby with a gun here. So I was going through some of my old things looking for stuff to donate when I came across this. Now this is a dart gun that I got at a prize corner for very cheap. That was kind of my main draw for it. It was like it's a Nerf blaster, or it functions like a Nerf blaster, and it was a low amount of points, so it didn't cost a lot to actually get. Now on paper, at least in my head when I was a kid, that sounded really cool. However, this Nerf blaster kind of sucks, if it wasn't obvious by the video title. So right off the bat, you can tell that, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it is a very cheaply manufactured blaster. It is super cheap, super hollow, and even this firing mechanism does not work very well. Oh, I lost the bullet there. Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest issues you'll immediately figure out with this gun is that this thing does not cock properly. No matter how many times or how I pull this, it will not go into place. You kind of have to like finagle with it to get it to sit right or get it to cock properly. But now that I do have it cocked, let me just show you how well this fires. I'm not sure how far this is, but it's probably like a few feet. And let's just see if I can hit that door. Now, obviously, I was able to hit the door, but you can see that there is a very, very sharp drop there. There is a very sharp bullet drop. Now, I'm going to step a few more feet back, and you'll really start to see how bad this gun's firing actually is. So I'm aiming at relatively the same spots, around the midpoint of the door. And as you can see, that barely hit it there. It hit like very low to the ground there. Wait a minute, I think I lost the bullet. Hold on. Obviously, this is not a very good gun. It was designed to be manufactured as cheaply as possible, to be sold at these prize corners, probably to collect the money of some poor kids. Now, of course, you might be thinking, sure, it's a cheap gun and it doesn't fire well, but at least it works with Nerf darts, right? Well, that's a thing. It doesn't actually work with Nerf darts. As you can see, it has a very, very big barrel here to compensate for these large darts. And actually, if you look down the barrel, you can see that it does not actually have a sort of like pin to hold the bullet in place. You're merely just shoving this bullet in there, and its sheer girth is what is keeping it in the barrel. And that means that if you try to take a regular Nerf dart and you try to actually put this in this gun, it will just fall straight out. Now, this can actually work with Nerf darts. Actually, I managed to cock it first time, or first try. And then if I fire it there, it does fire. It doesn't fire very well because, once again, this thing was not designed to shoot Nerf darts, and it probably never will be. Now, this is a big drawback for a few different reasons, but I think the most obvious one is that these 3 darts that the gun comes with, these are the only darts that you are going to get. I highly doubt you would be able to buy these in a multi-pack of some kind. These bullets were designed specifically to fire with this gun. So if you lose those darts, well, congratulations, you basically have a useless hunk of plastic. And I guess one final detail before I start to take this thing apart and actually look at its internal components is that, I don't know if you saw when I was showing off the barrel, but this housing here that holds the 2 bullets, it is not fully, I don't know what to call it. It doesn't fully house the bullets. It's merely just like 2 rings that are just designed to hold the bullets in this very hollow part of the gun, which isn't necessarily a bad design choice. It definitely works with how big these bullets are, but it definitely goes to show how much cost cutting and corner cutting was done to make this gun's cheap manufacture possible. So now we get to the fun part of the video where I get to actually take this thing apart and see what is actually inside of it and what makes it tick. Because I'm very curious why this firing mechanism is so garbage, because my theory is that when this pulls back, there's like a groove in it of some kind that's supposed to go into a slot to hold it in place. Because usually that's how most of these kinds of Nerf blasters work, but obviously something is going wrong and it is not holding in place. So I'm going to take out all the screws on this and actually see what is inside of it. Alright, is that all the screws? Alrighty, moment of truth. Time to pry these two pieces of plastic apart. See what the inside of this gun actually looks like. If it'll come apart. Come on. Come on. There we go. Damn, fighted a lot more fight than I was expecting. Well, okay then. I mean, I guess that's about what I expected. It's a very basic, plunger gun. Nothing too fancy. So yeah, we got a trigger here with a spring to... Oh, broke that. But yeah, pretty basic trigger mechanism with a plastic sliding piece and a spring to kind of give it some give. Then we have this piece here, which I assume is supposed to trigger the plunger once it fires. Yeah, it's a very basic plunger mechanism. Nothing too interesting about that. But what's odd to me, and what I'm trying to kind of figure out here, is how does this... Okay, so obviously this goes in here. Because obviously this firing mechanism is not working, so I kind of have to figure out, like, why it's not... Okay. So I don't think that little... I thought this little plastic tab did something, but I don't think it does. I think maybe it's just designed to hold that in place. Either that, or it's just a piece of the plastic mold that's missing. Oh, we got a spring here. I don't know where that came from. Probably another mechanism in the gun, but... Fire that. So I think the fault must be on, like, the inside of the spring, its mechanism itself, because... Ooh, okay. Looks like we have a groove of some kind there, so maybe it is on the inside of the mechanism. Yeah, because that... Or actually, wait a minute. Oh, okay, I see. So basically that pulls out, and that's like supposed to groove into there. But for whatever reason, that is not happening. I mean, obviously, I think it's more of a case of this just being incredibly cheaply manufactured, because obviously that mechanism is not very good and does not hold in place very well, because you have to pull it in a very specific way to get this thing to work. But I mean, hey, that's what you get when you buy cheap dart guns from China. I don't think I'm going to bother putting this thing back together, because obviously this thing is not really worth keeping, but either way, it made for an interesting video, and maybe you learned something about how dart guns work. Oh, wait a minute, I just realized something. Wait, was that like part of that? There's something broken here. Wait, is this like part of the plastic mold? Funny, I was about to do an outro and I didn't realize there's like a broken piece here. Doesn't look like that's like supposed to be a part of anything. Like either, or wait, maybe like there? I think that must have been like part of the plastic mold or something. Because clearly, I don't know, because clearly this doesn't really go to anything, and it just looks like a piece of sharp plastic, so maybe it's just part left over from the mold for this gun. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video, maybe you learned something, and yeah, I'll see you next time.